What up? What up? Day 67. Day 67. LeBron James checks Stephen A. Smith. I'm gonna make this one quick. LeBron James checks Stephen A. Smith. Hold on, let me adjust. Let me adjust to fit it. You know what I mean? All right. Let me see. Should I start? If you're watching this on replay, go ahead and skip to the minute 30 mark. I'm gonna start right there. Yeah. All right. 10 seconds. Three seconds, 2, 1. All right. LeBron James checked Stephen A. Smith. Apparently, he checked him at a game, and I'm gonna show you all the clip. He checked him because Stephen A. Smith, who's an analyst on ESPN, for those who don't know, and he's paid to give his opinion. One of the things players been complaining about recently is how all these analysts are complaining about them, or I mean, not complaining, but saying negative things, critiquing their game, all of these different things, which they having a problem with. Everybody had to deal with it. They just dealing with it more now because of social media and all these different things. But it's podcasts and all of these different platforms that can critique them now. But it comes with the territory. See, what they don't seem to understand is the critique actually puts money in your pocket. Every time somebody says something about LeBron James, some money goes in his pocket. How so, right? It's because if you a casual LeBron James fan, and this goes for every player that's ever played sports, this playing sports, when someone says something about your favorite player, or just even if you're casual and you feel like their opinion is kind of bogus, you would naturally say, oh, well, that doesn't make sense. And this is the reason why. And next thing you know, it turns people into diehard fans, right? Now they're defending this person. And really what they're defending is really their opinion, right? If I'm a casual fan, but I see that he's great, and someone says something that's kind of bogus, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. And we kind of debating back and forth. At this point, why people go so hard, it's not necessarily just for the player. It's really because they're arguing because someone is challenging their opinion. So that's what you're really going hard for, is your opinion. Like, am I wrong? And people don't like to be wrong. So it helps the game because now I'm more of a fan. Now I'm watching the game more when I was just a casual, but because this person was hating, now it's going to make me watch the game more, and vice versa. So being polarizing is like the old saying of there's no such thing as bad press, because eyes on you is pretty much ways to make money. So if you're polarizing, you're still making money. Whether people are watching to see you lose or they're watching to see you win, they're watching. So all of these players now complaining about so many people having a problem with them or critiquing their games and all of this. And who cares, man? It comes with the territory. So what LeBron James did was he ended up checking Stephen A. Smith because of LeBron got his son into the league. No one feels like his son deserved to be there, but LeBron got his son into the league because of who he is. And I don't blame him. I'm not mad at him. If I could do that too, I would do it. And kudos to him for that. But you got to understand, with that comes critique. People are going to say you got him in this league. They ain't gonna like it. 1, 2. They're going to critique his game the same way they critique yours and every other player in the league. And they're going to do it at a higher scale with him just because of the simple fact that you're LeBron James. So he getting more, Bronny James is getting more coverage than any other rookie this year. And he hardly ever plays. Most of the time he's in the G League. So I think his jersey sales was pretty high. I'm not going to say it's the top, but he was selling jerseys. So that's helping. Why? Because he's Bronny James. Why? Because people are how everyone loves to say people hating on you. So if they hating on you, which I don't think it's hating, it's just giving their honest opinion on what they see. But we're gonna call it hating for the, because that's what everybody's using. If they hating on you, you're still going to benefit from that, because for everyone that hates on you, there's another one who loves you. And the more this person hates, the more this person is going to love you. So it's going to balance out. And then this person is going to watch you just to hate on you, and this person's watching you to love you, but they're both watching, which means you drive numbers, which means that equates to money. So don't complain. Now, Stephen A. Smith, his job is to analyze what he views. That's what he gets paid millions of dollars for. Not a little, but he getting paid. He's pretty much he runs First Take, ESPN First Take. So I'm gonna show you the little clip. Let me share it real quick. There we go, right here. And so I'm going to show you what Stephen A. said. Once again, this is on ESPN's Instagram page. So YouTube, please don't demonetize me, because this is for everybody to use, because it's on the Instagram.
Coming up to me, unexpectedly, I might add, to confront me about making sure that I mind what I say about his son. Can't repeat the words because they ain't suited for FCC airwaves. That's what he was doing. I thought long and hard about this over the last few hours, because I had no intentions, Molly, of talking about this at all.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because it was a one-on-one, I wouldn't say a conversation, but it was a one-on-one confrontation. I was LeBron James coming up to me. But then I wake up and everybody from ESPN and my agent and everybody else were sending me that this thing had gone viral. And so ultimately it was unavoidable. And that is why I have to discuss it now. That wasn't a basketball player confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father. And I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in any way in that regard. By all accounts, he's obviously a wonderful family man and a wonderful father who cares very, very deeply about his son. And based on some of the comments that he had heard, or shall I say, I think he thought he heard, he clearly took exception to some of the things that he heard me say, and he confronted me about it. But then I wake up. For the record, his agent and friend, Rich Paul, has my number. Maverick Carter, who works under him, has my number. LeBron James knows how to get in contact with me if he wanted to. He never called, because had he called and wanted to talk to me, I would have accepted that call. Had he wanted to see me, I would have flown out and I would have seen him and I would have had a conversation man to man. But that is not what he elected to do. Instead, he elected to confront me while I was sitting courtside. Ari Emanuel, the head of William Morris Endeavor, one of the agencies that represents me, along with Larry David, was sitting courtside. I was with them for the game. And he walked right up to me and he said what he had to say. And apparently he feels like I was slighting his son. For the record, his agent and friend, Rich Paul, has my number. Now let me tell you what I feel. What I would have said if we were in a different environment, because I was not going to engage in a confrontation at that particular moment in that setting. But if we had had that conversation, I would have said to LeBron James, I never would speak negatively about your son. I was talking about you, meaning you, LeBron James. I have nothing but the best wishes for Bronny James. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope that he flourishes into an NBA star. Usually in other sports, we see all stars, and on occasion, we'll see their children become stars as well. That doesn't really happen with the NBA. I sincerely hope he's the exception. By all accounts, he's a wonderful kid. And I don't know anybody who roots against him, and it certainly isn't me. Now, let me tell you what I feel. What I would have said if we were in a different environment.
All right, so that's here's the last clip.
Because I was not going to. One of the top 2 players in the history of basketball, in my estimation. There's an immense amount of pressure that comes with that for his son. And when he talked like that and what have you, anything that goes awry as it pertains to his son, there's going to be a microscopic eye, even more intensified.
All right, before I kind of let it play for a while, but before he keep going. So this is what it is. At the end of the day, as a father, I understand exactly how LeBron feels. Like, I'm very protective of my kids as well. And sometimes you just want to, you really just want to handle it, no matter what. But I'm giving you all perspectives. I'm not saying anybody's right. I'm not saying anybody's wrong. So some of the things I say going to contradict, but it's just from different sides, right? Because everybody has their own side. So LeBron is like, yo, I'm protecting my son. And Stephen A., he said he understood that. Where I think LeBron could have possibly handled it better is, like he said, his agent has Stephen A.'s number, so he could easily get in contact with Stephen A. And Stephen A. would have answered the phone, and they could have had a conversation there. But LeBron, he does everything. He's very, very calculated, so he does everything. He always try to control the narrative. You know what I mean? That's one thing that I've noticed about him. Always try to control the narratives. So doing it at the game was precise. It was strategic for him. It was, I want to do this in a public forum because I know it's gonna bring attention to me and everything and all of that. But to me, it's really a soft move, in my opinion, because at the end of the day, you could have called them up. You did it at a Lakers game. You did it at a game, period, that you're playing in. What do you think is going to happen? It's in a sense, it's almost like a bullying move, but then again, it's his son. So it's like, shoot, I don't care. It's my son. So maybe he wanted to embarrass him. But, if you're trying to like buck up, man up, and, then do it in a spot where if Stephen A. were to talk a little crazy, you don't have all the security that's going to throw him out. Because no matter who wrong, LeBron could have smacked him right there, and they still not going to just blame it on LeBron. Stephen A.'s going to get taken out. You know what I mean? Now LeBron might get ejected from the game for doing something like that, for hitting a fan, even though he's not technically a fan. But still, he's the star. It's his realm. It's not Stephen A.'s realm. So pulling that move right there was kind of corny to me. You should have just talked to him on the phone, or you should have talked to him after the game. Like, yeah, I need to holler at you after the game. You know what I mean? And you have ample time to talk to him. He could have talked to him way before, because Stephen A., whatever he said about him, it wasn't like it was yesterday. He could have been said something to him. Could have been asked to speak to him. But what LeBron doesn't seem to understand is, dude, you brought your son into the league knowing he wasn't ready. You knew what was going to happen. You knew people was going to critique him and say that he didn't deserve to be in the league, which, he really kind of didn't, right? I mean, the man only averaged, and I'm rooting for Bronny, for real. Like, I really hope that he does well, because I can only imagine the pressure that he has to deal with. And I really watch the games hoping that he gets some burn and he scores and stuff like that. But as far as LeBron, always trying to control the narrative and everything like that, well, it's not always going to work in your favor. You brought him into the league. This is part of it. The kid is getting paid millions of dollars. He has a contract. He was the last pick in the draft, and he has a contract that's big for a person who's the last pick in the draft. So that's all because of LeBron. Nothing wrong with that. His name is selling jerseys and stuff like that. in the G League, I'm sure, people are going to that G League game just to see Bronny James. So nothing wrong with that. But he's a grown man now. And this is part you can't baby him. It's other players in the league or former players whose kids are in the league, and they don't come up to analysts and say anything. And it's not like the things that Stephen A was saying was uh, uh, degrading his character or anything like that. He's just purely talking about the game of basketball. And it doesn't matter if he's saying something. Every time a voice like Stephen A says something crazy, those who don't like Stephen A are going to automatically defend the opposite person, right? Whoever he's talking about. So in this case, he's talking about Bronny. So what is happening to Bronny? He's getting more of a fan base because I don't like Stephen A and I don't really have a problem with Bronny. So fuck Stephen A. I'm gonna support Bronny even more, which is doing what? It's bringing more dollars into Bronny James' pocket. If LeBron doesn't like it, you should not have put your son in the league when he wasn't ready for it. It is what it is. But from the father side, I understand as well. So it's kind of one of those things, but based off of how in the last 22 years we've seen LeBron James move and how he constantly is controlling the narrative, it's kind of whack. But on the other hand, Stephen A. Smith, because he be talking crazy. He always talking like if you watch his interviews and he having a problem with a person, oh, where you can see me. I ain't running from nobody. That's how he always talking. Like I'll pull up and talk to them and blah 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 blah. Almost like he's on some, like he on some gangster shit. Like he gonna come up and smack somebody or something. But when LeBron James ran up on him, I mean, you see what happened. And even on this while he was talking, you see how calm he was talking. You know what I mean? So I know a lot of people like to see that, the fact that Stephen A kind of got checked, which I understand. I don't blame Stephen A for doing his job. He's supposed to do his job, but all that extra rah-rah shit that he always do when a player has a problem with him. But when he finally got checked, and now we see it in public, we seen you get checked in public, and there was none of that rah-rah stuff. Maybe he was smart to realize because of who he was with, where he was at, but he just always talking kind of like, son, nobody's scared of you. You know what I mean? Like, chill out. Let's see what the comments say. Hold up. And then I'm gonna end this. Because Boston's playing the Lakers too, and I want to see that game. All right, let's go to the comments. So you can't helicopter parent a public figure. If you put your kid in the spotlight, some people will support, others will criticize. That's the cost of being a superstar. Stop telling the press telling the press they can't say what they want to say. Bron just showed us how far Bronny is from being ready to take the baton and all that comes with it. I actually like that. But Reggie Bush, former NFL player, running back, USC star, Heisman winner, he tried to come in with the soft voice this morning. Nah, keep that same energy, Pink Panther. The king pulled up on you. What's up? He said, stop flapping your gums. The king, it's crazy calling LeBron the king. I know he calls himself the king, but Bronny is a dope, a millionaire in his own right, an NBA player. This comes with the territory. Stephen A always had the utmost respect for Bronny. He didn't mention him in high school. He didn't really mention him until USC when he had the health scare, and it was all positive energy towards him. And even when it was time for him to go to the NBA, he was just being honest about the situation and the position LeBron put him in. He never said one negative word about Bronny at all. I get LeBron is a father and he's going to be protective, but if you look at how Stephen A has treated Bronny in the media, it's always been above board out of respect for LeBron. Because of all of that, I think his reaction wasn't really necessary at all. If we're being honest, Stephen A could have went way harder based on Bronny's play, and he didn't. I wonder what some of the people got to say about that. Let me see. Okay, somebody was agreeing, put LeBron in a tough position. Yep. I just want to see the people who don't agree. right? LBJ just needs something else to do. He can't keep running down on reporters who report about his son. Yeah, it's corny. You're trying to control the narrative, and the thing about controlling the narrative when it's your son, it's even harder because your son really don't belong in the league at this moment. He didn't deserve to be there. The dude only averaged like 3 points or some shit in college. So how did he get drafted? So I understand. I would do it though. I don't blame LeBron for putting him in there. Like, nah, get your son in there. And if you can get him right, if you feel like he can get better playing alongside of you or being in the NBA, then do so. Nothing wrong with that. Everyone in the NBA is somebody's son. If you choose to put him in the limelight, then expect the criticism. Yep. Bronny is not excluded from the criticism. So yeah, at the end of the day, everybody's kind of saying the same thing. Like, you can't do that, man. That was corny. And you really try to pull up on him and say and get thorough with him because you knew where you was at. And I'm not saying that he wouldn't do it in another space, but it just looks real corny. You could have easily called him and said, "Hey, man, keep my son's name out your mouth." Even then, you still would have been in a sense wrong because he's a grown man. It's not like it's not a kid that he talking about. He talking about a grown man that's in the league. You don't want, so that means he's gonna run up on every reporter to ever say anything. It's not gonna turn out well if you do that with everybody. He's gonna be chasing everybody at that point. You gotta let him, take those lumps just like he did. If you want him to be better, work with him more. On that note, tell me what you think of the comment. Was LeBron wrong? Or did Stephen A finally get what he deserved? Was LeBron wrong, or did Stephen A finally get what he deserved? And what would you do if you was a parent? Mind you, it's a bunch of NBA players whose kids are in the league and they don't say anything. They don't run down on people. So I don't know about this one. Till next time, peace.